Hi, I'm Lawrence Mittler with Motet Distribution, a division of Exelo International. And today, I'm with Hugo Dicel, the president of Triangle Loudspeakers. And we have a few questions for Hugo Dicel today regarding his speakers. Why is a speaker a little bit different from all other loudspeakers on the market?
Hi, Lawrence. So first of all, thank you for taking the time to speak with me. Yes, Triangle is a bit different because it's a French company, and our founder, Renaud de Verniet, has this very special idea about how a speaker should sound. He's looking for a speaker very well detailed, especially in the high frequency and the mid-range. So with Triangle, we have developed a different kind of tweeter, which is a small unloaded tweeter with titanium membrane at inside and a small horn corrected by a small face plug. The idea is really to open the sound stage when we're using this kind of tweeter. And of course, we have different technologies and in the mid-range and on the bass driver that I can explain to you if you're interested to.
I'd like to know a little bit more about the mid-range driver, which is just below the titanium tweeter right here.
Yeah, for mid-range, most of the time we use paper because we truly believe that it's a material which gives us the most transparency and the most the closest things from the human voice. So when we are in this kind of setup for three-way floor standards, we're going to use a small pleated suspension which has the interest of having very small movement, so the membrane doesn't move a lot. It's very tight, but the interest is that this small movement will make very precise sound reproduction. It won't move too far.
And tell me a little bit about the bass drivers.
The bass drivers, it's a mix of fiberglass and paper, and the interest of this bass driver is mostly on the suspension. It means that it's a inverted half-roll suspension. The idea we've noticed that in fact it takes three much more time, energy for a bass driver to stop rather than moving. So we are focusing on how should we stop correctly the driver at the end of the movement in order to have a very clear and defined bass. So that's why we're using this technology, because it stops way much easier. And one more small point that I would like to highlight is when you have a look on this tweeter just over there, yes, you see it's cut in two. It's because we have separated the two drivers. They are each time separated in their own part of the cabinet, and the vents will put the air from this part and from this part as well. So it's helped to reduce a lot the distortion and have a more powerful bass.
Tell me about the actual cabinet here is beveled. It's not a square box. Why is that?
Because we've got an effect which called border reduction. There is always a bit of distortion at the border of the drivers. Okay. So we've noticed that if we beveled a bit the cabinets, we'll reduce that impact. And also the tweeter is a bit out of the box. It's because we want to avoid the tweeter to get disturbed from the rear wave of the mid-range. So really each part has its own space into the cabinet. The tweeter will be outside, the mid-range will have its own space, and the two bass driver as well.
That's fantastic. Tell me a little bit about the binding posts at the back of the loudspeaker.
Basically, we are using a by-wire binding post because we believe this is the most important things to have a good separation between high frequencies and low frequencies as well. We use a solid aluminium binding post that we designed by ourselves. It's made in order to, of course, welcome banana plugs for high-end cables, but also we think about letting a cable from 5 to 6 millimeter diameters in order to put really high quality cable into our speakers.
That's great. Tell me a little bit about what amplifiers you would recommend for these Delta loudspeakers.
Let's say that the Triangle speakers will be defined as very lively and very dynamic. So we mostly recommend warm amplifiers, just as lamps are associating very well with our product, and it's mostly linked also to the tweeter, because when we use an unloaded tweeter, it has so much energy that it's better to put a warm amplifier which brings more musicalities and power. We don't need that much power. Our speaker is 92 dB efficient, so it means only with a small, well-built, I don't know, 80 watt, 120 watt per channels. I mean, for of course AB, it will be great.
Even 50 watts would work with 92 dB quite easily.
Yeah, it mostly depends on your amplifier and how it's
That's
built.
right. That's right.
Okay, and also one thing we've been developed at Triangle is how to really separate the floor standers from the ground. And we will see at the bottom of the floor standers there is a spike that we call a spec. We call it spec because it's single point energy conduction system, and it gets inspired by a cello. You see, there is very similar spike, such as a cello. It means that all the energy from the speakers will be directed here, and then thanks to the spike, it will be dramatically reduced. So with this kind of system, we've seen a dramatically improvement in terms of vibration reduction and not conduction to the ground. One point also about our speakers is that they are very efficient. They are 92 dB very efficient, so it makes this speaker quite easy to pair with. We are looking for something which make good musicality and good balance, so it can be comfortable with class AB, class A amplifier. I've got a personal taste for lamps, but this is my personal taste, of course.
It's interesting that you mentioned that in a French way, lamps or voltage-controlled tube devices. Some people do like tube devices, tube amplifiers, because with the voltage control that they put out, it tends to smooth out the top-end titanium tweeter a little bit. But that's just personal choice.
Yeah, exactly. After, for amplifiers, it's always about personal choice, and it's about which color do you want to with your speakers. Just note that this one is very dynamic, and after you pair with the amplifier you love the most.
Overall, I really like the Delta sound. It really delivers everything.
Thank you, Laurent.